On the morning of May 29, 1453, a 19-year-old sultan named Mehmed II watched his cannon finally breach a wall that had stood for 11 centuries. Behind that wall, an emperor named Constantine XI tore off his purple regalia, picked up a sword like any common soldier, and walked into the breach. His body was never identified with certainty. Ottoman and Greek folklore would claim he never truly died, that he was turned to marble by an angel and hidden beneath the earth, waiting to return and retake the city. That city was Constantinople. But the empire that built it did not begin there. It began nearly 2,200 years earlier, on a hill beside a river, with a story most historians agree never happened, and a reality far stranger than the myth. This is the story of Rome, the only state in human history to span the founding of a village and the invention of gunpowder-cracked walls, the only empire whose fall, in 476, was, to half its own people at the time, simply Tuesday. The legend. According to Roman tradition itself, twin brothers named Romulus and Remus were descended from the Trojan hero Aeneas, abandoned as infants on the orders of a usurping great-uncle, and suckled by a she-wolf on the banks of the Tiber. Raised by a shepherd, the twins grew up, quarreled over where to build their city, and Romulus killed Remus in the argument. Rome was founded, by this legend, on April 21, 753 BC, and founded, tellingly, on an act of fratricide. Roman writers themselves noticed the irony. A city that would spend its whole existence at war with others and with itself, began with a brother's murder. What actually happened? Archaeology tells a slower, less cinematic story. The Palatine Hill shows evidence of small hut settlements from roughly the 8th century BC, consistent with the legendary founding date, but Rome did not spring from nothing. It emerged where it did because of geography. 7 hills for defense, a ford across the Tiber that made it a natural crossing point for trade between Etruria to the north and Greek colonies to the south, and fertile land in Latium. For its first roughly 240 years, Rome was ruled by kings, not emperors. 7 of them by tradition, the last 3, Tarquinius Priscus, Servius Tullius, and Tarquinius Superbus, bearing Etruscan names, reflecting genuine Etruscan cultural and possibly political dominance over early Rome. The specific king list and its dates are semi-legendary. Scholars broadly trust the outline more than the details. In 509 BC, Roman tradition holds that the last king, Tarquinius Superbus, Tarquin the Proud, was expelled after his son Sextus raped a noble woman named Lucretia, who then took her own life. Her kinsman Lucius Junius Brutus led the revolt that abolished the monarchy. Whatever the precise trigger, the monarchy's fall and the birth of the Roman Republic around this date is treated as historically solid. Rome would not have a king again for nearly 500 years, and when it effectively did, the word king, rex, remained so politically toxic that no emperor ever used it. Keep that detail in your pocket, because everything that follows, every emperor for the next 14 centuries, is built around one central load-bearing lie: the pretense that Rome never had kings again. This span covers roughly 480 years and cannot be given ruler-by-ruler treatment. There were no single rulers. Power was distributed among annually elected magistrates. The chain of continuity that matters for our story is this. The Republic expanded from a single city to control of the entire Italian peninsula by 264 BC, then fought and won 3 wars against Carthage. The Punic Wars 264 to 146 BC, including Hannibal's famous crossing of the Alps and near destruction of Rome after the Battle of Cannae in 216 BC, one of the costliest single-day defeats in Roman military history. Rome's recovery from Cannae, refusing to negotiate even after losing perhaps 50,000 to 70,000 men in one day, became a template for Roman resilience that recurs throughout this story. Success abroad destabilized Rome at home. Wealth from conquest concentrated in fewer hands, small farmers were displaced, and the Republic's institutions, designed for a city-state, buckled under the weight of a Mediterranean empire. This produced a century of civil war. The Gracchi brothers' land reforms and assassinations, 133 to 121 BC, the dictatorship of Sulla, the rise of generals like Marius and Pompey who commanded personal loyalty from their troops rather than the state, and finally Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar crossed the Rubicon River with his army in 49 BC, an act of illegal war against his own state, defeated his rival Pompey and was made dictator. He was assassinated on the Ides of March 44 BC by a conspiracy of senators including Marcus Junius Brutus, who claimed descent from the Brutus who expelled the kings 465 years earlier. Whether the conspirators genuinely believed Caesar intended to be crowned king, or used that fear as pretext for eliminating a rival, is debated by historians. The sources closest to events, Cicero's letters, suggest genuine anti-monarchical conviction among at least some conspirators. Caesar's death did not restore the Republic. It triggered another 13 years of civil war between his heir, Gaius Octavius, adopted as Octavian, and Mark Antony, allied with the Egyptian Queen Cleopatra VII. Octavian won decisively at the naval battle of Actium in 31 BC. Antony and Cleopatra died by suicide in Egypt in 30 BC. In 27 BC, the man who had just fought his way to sole control of the Mediterranean world stood before the Senate and did something no victorious general in the ancient world was expected to do. He offered to give all his power back. It was theater, but it was theater that would define how Rome was ruled for the next 500 years. Augustus, Octavian, reigned 27 BC to 14 AD, 41 years. In January 27 BC, Octavian formally restored power to the Senate and people of Rome, and was immediately voted extraordinary powers and the title Augustus, the revered one, in return. He never called himself king or emperor. His preferred title was princeps, first citizen. This is the founding sleight of hand of the entire Roman Empire, autocracy wearing the clothes of a restored republic. Augustus married 3 times. Clodia Pulchra, marriage likely never consummated, quickly annulled. Scribonia, with whom he had his only biological child, a daughter, Julia the Elder, born 39 BC, and Livia Drusilla, whom he married in 38 BC and remained with until his death. 51 years, the marriage that mattered politically. Augustus's daughter Julia was married off 3 times for political alliance building, to his nephew Marcellus, to his general and friend Marcus Agrippa, and finally to his stepson Tiberius. Augustus had no surviving sons, which made succession a genuine crisis. His intended heirs, Marcellus, then Agrippa's sons Gaius and Lucius Caesar, died before him. Ancient sources, Tacitus and rumor recorded by later writers, allege Livia poisoned some of these rivals to clear the path for her own son Tiberius. Modern historians treat this as unproven, likely hostile rumor rather than established fact, given how convenient the deaths were for a narrative already suspicious of Livia. Marcus Agrippa, Augustus's close friend and eventually son-in-law, was his indispensable general and engineer. He commanded the fleet at Actium and built much of Rome's aqueduct and public building program. Livia functioned as an influential political advisor for over 50 years, a role without formal office but with real informal power, and was later deified after her death. In 9 AD, 3 entire Roman legions, roughly 15,000 to 20,000 men under the general Varus, were annihilated by Germanic tribes under Arminius in the Teutoburg forest. It was one of the worst military disasters in Roman history and permanently halted Roman expansion east of the Rhine. Ancient sources report Augustus, on hearing the news, repeatedly banged his head against a door, crying, "Quintili ver, legions red. Varus, give me back my legions." Augustus's reign began the Pax Romana, Roman peace, roughly 2 centuries of relative internal stability across the Mediterranean. He reorganized the army into a professional standing force, created the Praetorian Guard, reformed tax collection, and initiated a massive building program in Rome. He reportedly boasted he found Rome a city of brick and left it a city of marble. Augustus died in 14 AD at age 75, apparently of natural causes, having arranged for his stepson Tiberius to succeed him, the first hereditary-style transfer of what was still officially not a monarchy. Tiberius reigned 14 to 37 AD, 23 years. Tiberius was an experienced general but a reluctant and unpopular ruler, increasingly withdrawing from Rome to the island of Capri in his later years, leaving governance to his Praetorian prefect, Sejanus. Sejanus was eventually executed in 31 AD after Tiberius discovered. The precise nature of the plot is debated by ancient sources themselves, that he was maneuvering against the imperial family. Tiberius died in 37 AD at 77. The historian Suetonius claims he was smothered with a pillow by the Praetorian prefect Macro to hasten the succession of Caligula, a claim modern historians treat with real skepticism given Suetonius's taste for scandal. Caligula Gaius reigned 37 to 41 AD under 4 years. Caligula began his reign popular, then, per Roman sources, underwent some kind of severe illness in late 37 AD, after which his behavior turned erratic and brutal. Arbitrary executions, extravagant spending, and, per ancient hostile sources, declarations of his own divinity. Whether he was genuinely mentally ill, and to what degree ancient authors, writing under his successors, with every incentive to blacken his memory, exaggerated his conduct, is a live historical debate. The "made his horse a senator" story is widely repeated but likely satire rather than a real event. He was assassinated in 41 AD by Praetorian Guard officers, including Cassius Chaerea, in a corridor of the palace, the first emperor to be assassinated by his own guard. Claudius reigned 41 to 54 AD, 13 years. Claudius, discovered hiding behind a curtain in the palace after Caligula's murder, per Suetonius, and installed by the Praetorian Guard largely because he was the last adult male of the family left standing, proved a surprisingly effective administrator, expanding the empire into Britain in 43 AD, reforming the bureaucracy and extending citizenship. He married 4 times. His third wife, Valeria Messalina, was executed in 48 AD after an alleged bigamous marriage to a senator amid a suspected coup plot. His fourth wife, Agrippina the Younger, his own niece, requiring a special Senate dispensation to legalize the marriage, is widely held by ancient sources to have poisoned him with a dish of mushrooms in 54 AD to secure the throne for her son from a previous marriage. This is the near-universal account in Tacitus and Suetonius but cannot be independently verified. It remains the accepted historical tradition rather than a certainty. Nero reigned 54 to 68 AD, 14 years. Nero's early reign, guided by advisors including the philosopher Seneca and the Praetorian prefect Burrus, was relatively stable. It deteriorated. Nero had his own mother Agrippina killed in 59 AD after a failed poisoning attempt led to a more direct assassination. He had his wife Octavia executed in 62 AD to marry Poppaea Sabina, whom ancient sources say he later killed by kicking her while she was pregnant. The kick is Suetonius/Tacitus's account and again unverifiable, though widely repeated. A massive fire destroyed much of the city. The claim that Nero fiddled while Rome burned is almost certainly false. The fiddle did not exist in ancient Rome, and by most ancient accounts he was outside the city when it began and organized relief efforts. What is better attested? Nero used the destruction to build an enormous new palace, the Domus Aurea, and, per Tacitus, shifted public blame onto Rome's Christian community, subjecting some to gruesome executions, which is among the earliest attested state persecutions of Christians. By 68 AD, provincial governors and the Senate turned against Nero over taxation and his conduct. Declared a public enemy, he fled Rome and took his own life with help from a secretary, reportedly saying, "Qualis artifex perio? What an artist dies in me." He died childless, ending the Julio-Claudian dynasty, the line founded by blood adoption from Augustus, after 95 years. Nero's death didn't produce a smooth succession. It produced the year of 4 emperors, 69 AD, a single calendar year in which Rome tore through 4 rulers, a preview of a pattern that would recur across the empire's entire lifespan. Dynasties are stable until they aren't, and when they collapse fast. After the chaotic year of 4 emperors, Galba, Otho, Vitellius, all dead within months, the general Vespasian secured the throne, founding the Flavian dynasty 69 to 96 AD. His reign and that of his son Titus 79 to 81 AD are most remembered for the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD, which buried Pompeii and Herculaneum, a natural disaster, not a political one, but one that preserved an unmatched archaeological snapshot of daily Roman life. Titus's brother Domitian, 81 to 96 AD, ruled more autocratically and was assassinated in a palace conspiracy involving his own wife, Domitia Longina. Her precise level of involvement versus mere foreknowledge is debated. The Senate then elevated Nerva, 96 to 98 AD, an elderly senator with no sons who set the precedent for the next 84 years, adopting a capable non-relative as heir rather than relying on blood succession. This produced the five good emperors: Nerva, Trajan, Hadrian, Antoninus Pius, and Marcus Aurelius, widely regarded by ancient and modern historians alike as the empire's political high point. Trajan, 98 to 117 AD, 19 years presided over the empire's greatest territorial extent, conquering Dacia, modern Romania, and briefly Mesopotamia. Commemorated in Trajan's column, a spiraling relief sculpture depicting the Dacian campaigns in remarkable detail, still standing in Rome today. Hadrian, 117 to 138 AD, 21 years reversed some of Trajan's eastern conquests as indefensible, and instead consolidated the empire's borders, most famously Hadrian's Wall across northern Britain, begun around 122 AD. He had no children. He adopted Antoninus Pius as successor on condition Antoninus in turn adopt Marcus Aurelius and Lucius Verus, planning 2 generations of succession in advance. Marcus Aurelius, 161 to 180 AD, 19 years a Stoic philosopher-emperor whose private journal, Meditations, survives as one of antiquity's most read philosophical texts. His reign was dominated by near-constant warfare on the Danube frontier against Germanic tribes, the Marcomannic Wars, and the Antonine Plague, likely smallpox, brought back by troops returning from the East, one of the ancient world's most devastating pandemics, killing an estimated 5 to 10 million people across the empire. Exact mortality figures are modern epidemiological estimates, not ancient census data, since no reliable ancient death toll survives. Break from the pattern. Marcus Aurelius broke the adoptive succession model by naming his own biological son, Commodus, as heir, a decision many ancient and modern historians treat as the single worst decision of the good emperor's era, since Commodus, 180 to 192 AD, proved erratic and was eventually strangled in his bath by a wrestler in a palace conspiracy. For 84 years, Rome had solved one of the hardest problems any state faces. How do you hand over supreme power without bloodshed? By simply not handing it to your own children. The moment blood ties override merit again, the machine breaks. It would take Rome nearly a century to recover. Commodus's death triggered another year of 5 emperors, 193 AD, one by Septimius Severus, who founded a short dynasty ending in the assassination of his son Caracalla, 211 to 217 AD, remembered for granting Roman citizenship to nearly all free inhabitants of the empire in 212 AD, the Constitutio Antoniniana, and for the massive baths of Caracalla in Rome. From roughly 235 to 284 AD, Rome cycled through more than 20 emperors, most ruling only months or a few years before assassination, usually at the hands of their own troops, a period modern historians call the crisis of the 3rd century. Simultaneous pressures, Germanic and Gothic invasions across the Rhine and Danube, the rise of the aggressive new Sasanian Persian Empire in the east, which in 260 AD captured the Roman Emperor Valerian alive, the only Roman emperor ever taken prisoner by a foreign power, a genuine humiliation Persian sources memorialized in rock reliefs, economic collapse from debased currency, and even a temporary split of the empire into 3 competing states: the Gallic Empire in the west, the core Roman state, and the Palmyrene Empire in the east under Queen Zenobia. Zenobia of Palmyra seized control of Roman Egypt and much of the eastern provinces in the 260s, 270s AD, ruling in the name of her young son. She was defeated and captured by Emperor Aurelian in 272 AD. Ancient sources disagree on her fate afterward. Some say she died in captivity, others that she was pardoned and lived out her life in Roman Italy. This is genuinely unresolved. By 270 AD, Rome had lost a third of its own territory to breakaway states and had an emperor's captured body reportedly used, per hostile Persian sympathetic legend, as a footstool. The footstool detail specifically is disputed and possibly later anti-Persian propaganda. The empire should have died here. It didn't, because of 2 men who rebuilt it almost from scratch. Diocletian reigned 284 to 305 AD, 21 years. Diocletian, a soldier of relatively humble origin from Dalmatia, ended the crisis by fundamentally redesigning the imperial system. The Tetrarchy, rule of 4, splitting the empire into 4 administrative zones, each with its own emperor, 2 senior Augusti, 2 junior Caesars, reasoning that no single man could defend all frontiers at once. He also launched the last and largest empire-wide persecution of Christians, 303 to 311 AD, the Great Persecution. In 305 AD, uniquely among Roman emperors, he voluntarily abdicated and retired to grow cabbages at his palace in Split, in modern Croatia. The only Roman emperor to give up power willingly and survive to enjoy retirement. Constantine I reigned 306 to 337 AD, 31 years. Constantine rose through the Tetrarchy's collapse into civil war among rival claimants. Before the decisive battle of the Milvian Bridge in 312 AD against his rival Maxentius, Constantine reported a vision. Accounts differ on exact details between Eusebius and Lactantius, our 2 main sources, associated with the Christian God, and had his soldiers mark their shields with a Christian symbol. He won the battle and became sole ruler of the Western Empire, later the whole empire by 324 AD. In 313 AD, Constantine and his eastern co-ruler Licinius issued the Edict of Milan, granting religious tolerance to Christians, ending the persecutions and beginning the empire's long transformation into a Christian state, though Constantine himself was only baptized on his deathbed in 337 AD. In 330 AD, he founded a new capital on the site of the old Greek city of Byzantium, renaming it Constantinople, a decision that, more than any other single act, guaranteed Rome would have an Eastern afterlife lasting a further 1,123 years after the western half collapsed. Kinsman and family violence. In 326 AD, Constantine had his own eldest son, Crispus, executed, and shortly after had his wife, Fausta, killed as well, reportedly in an overheated bathhouse. Ancient sources disagree sharply on the reason. Accusations of an affair between Fausta and Crispus, a succession dispute or court intrigue are all proposed, and no version can be confirmed. This remains one of the genuine unsolved mysteries of the imperial court. The man who legalized Christianity and built the city that would keep Rome alive for over 1,000 years also killed his own son and wife in the same year, for reasons no historian since has been able to prove. Empire and family in Rome were never separable, and rarely gentle. The split, 395 AD. Constantine's eventual successors ruled a reunified empire on and off through the 4th century. In 395 AD, Emperor Theodosius I, the last man to rule a fully unified Roman Empire, and the emperor who made Nicene Christianity the empire's official state religion in 380 AD, died and split the realm permanently between his two sons, Honorius in the west, Arcadius in the east. Neither half was ever reunified for good. This is the hinge of the entire story. From this point, Rome is really two separate, diverging trajectories. The Western Empire under Honorius, 395 to 423 AD, proved unable to manage the pressure of Germanic peoples pushed westward by the Huns' expansion. In 410 AD, the Visigothic king Alaric sacked Rome itself, the first time the city had fallen to a foreign enemy in roughly 800 years, an event that shocked the Mediterranean world. The Christian writer Augustine of Hippo wrote The City of God partly in response to pagans blaming the sack on abandonment of the old gods. The Western court, under increasingly powerless emperors propped up by barbarian generals, most notably the Vandal-descended General Ricimer, who made and unmade emperors as effective kingmaker for over a decade, continued to lose territory through the 5th century. North Africa to the Vandals, 429 to 439 AD, most of Gaul and Spain to Visigoths and other groups, Britain effectively abandoned to Rome's own withdrawal around 410 AD. Attila the Hun invaded Gaul in 451 AD, defeated at the Battle of the Catalonian Plains by a combined Roman Visigothic force, and Italy in 452 AD reportedly turned back from marching on Rome itself after a meeting with Pope Leo I. Whether the Pope's diplomacy, a plague among Attila's own troops, or simple logistics caused the withdrawal is genuinely debated by historians, and ancient Christian sources naturally favor the Pope's role. In 476 AD, the Germanic military commander Odoacer deposed the last Western emperor, a teenager named, with almost unbearable historical irony, Romulus Augustulus, Little Augustus, bearing the names of both Rome's legendary founder and its first emperor. Odoacer did not appoint a new emperor. He sent the imperial regalia to Constantinople and ruled Italy himself as a king under nominal Eastern Roman authority. A matter of modern historiographical framing, not fact in dispute. Many historians now caution that no one alive in 476 AD experienced it as the fall of Rome in dramatic terms. Administrative continuity, Roman law, and Roman aristocratic families persisted in Italy for decades afterward. The date is a useful marker for modern textbooks more than a lived rupture. Here's the detail school textbooks leave out. While Rome's western half was being carved up by Odoacer in 476, its eastern half, richer, better defended, still calling itself Rome, was watching an ordinary Tuesday unfold in Constantinople. The empire didn't die in 476. Half of it just got a new landlord. The other half had another 977 years left to run. Justinian I reigned 527 to 565 AD, 38 years. Justinian, born a peasant in the Balkans and raised to power through his uncle Justin I, a former soldier who himself rose from obscurity to the throne, attempted the last serious effort to reunify the old Roman world, reconquering North Africa from the Vandals, 533 to 534 AD, and much of Italy from the Ostrogoths, 535 to 554 AD, a brutally destructive war lasting nearly 20 years, through his general Belisarius. Justinian married Theodora, a former actress and, per hostile contemporary sources, possibly a courtesan, a scandalous background for an empress, requiring Justinian's uncle to change the law forbidding senators from marrying actresses. Theodora became an unusually powerful co-ruler. The historian Procopius, in his private, scandal-focused secret history, a very different tone from his official histories, credits her with talking Justinian out of fleeing during the Nika riots of 532 AD, reportedly declaring that purple, the imperial color, makes the best burial shroud, better to die a ruler than live a fugitive. The exact quote is a literary construction by Procopius, not a verbatim transcript, though the substance of her resolve during the riots is broadly credited by historians. The Nika riots of 532 AD, sparked by chariot racing factions, nearly toppled Justinian and burned much of Constantinople before being suppressed at a cost of an estimated 30,000 lives in the Hippodrome. The plague of Justinian, beginning 541 AD, likely the same bacterium Yersinia pestis, responsible for the later medieval Black Death, killed an enormous portion of the empire's population. Modern estimates vary widely, from roughly 25% to over a third of the population in affected areas, and historians increasingly debate the older, more extreme mortality claims. Figures are disputed among modern historians and should be treated as estimates. Justinian commissioned the Corpus Juris Civilis, a systematic codification of Roman law that became the foundation of civil law traditions across continental Europe into the modern era. Arguably his most durable legacy, outlasting his territorial conquests by over 1,000 years. He also rebuilt the Hagia Sophia 532 to 537 AD, after the Nika riots destroyed its predecessor, an engineering achievement. Its dome remained the largest in the world for centuries, that still stands in Istanbul today. Justinian's reconquests proved largely unsustainable. Within a few years of his death, the Lombards overran most of reconquered Italy, and the wars had exhausted imperial treasuries and manpower right before a new and more dangerous threat, the rise of Islam in the 7th century, emerged. Heraclius, 610 to 641 AD, inherited an empire nearly destroyed by the Sasanian Persians, who had overrun Egypt, Syria, and Palestine and reached the walls of Constantinople itself. Heraclius mounted a remarkable counter-campaign deep into Persian territory, 622 to 628 AD, decisively defeating the Sasanians and recovering all lost territory, including the True Cross relic taken from Jerusalem, only for a new power, the Arab Muslim armies, to conquer nearly all the same reconquered eastern provinces within a decade, 636 to 642 AD. A loss from which the empire never recovered its former territorial scale. Constantinople itself withstood two major Arab sieges, 674 to 678 AD and 717 to 718 AD, the latter defeated partly through Greek fire, a closely guarded incendiary weapon whose exact chemical composition remains unknown to modern historians. The formula was a state secret so well kept it died with the empire. Composition is genuinely unrecoverable. Proposed modern reconstructions are educated guesses, not confirmed formulas. The 8th and early 9th centuries saw the iconoclasm controversy, periods when emperors, beginning with Leo III in 726 AD, banned the veneration of religious icons as idolatrous, provoking deep internal religious conflict, before the practice was permanently restored in 843 AD under Empress Theodora, regent for her young son Michael III, an event still commemorated in Orthodox Christianity as the triumph of orthodoxy. The Macedonian dynasty, 867 to 1056 AD, presided over what historians generally regard as Byzantium's Second Golden Age, culminating in Basil II, the Bulgar Slayer, reigned 976 to 1025 AD, 49 years, the longest reign of any Roman/Byzantine emperor, who spent decades of grinding warfare subjugating the Bulgarian Empire, reportedly, per the chronicler John Skylitz's writing later, blinding 99 of every 100 captured Bulgarian soldiers after a decisive 1014 victory, leaving one man in each group of 100 with one eye to lead the others home. This specific atrocity is reported by only one chronicler writing decades after the event, and some modern historians treat the number and staging as likely exaggerated or symbolic rather than a precise historical record, though a mass blinding of some scale is broadly credited. Basil too never married and left no children. After 49 years on the throne, longer than any Roman or Byzantine ruler before or since, the empire he left behind had no clear heir waiting. Within 60 years, that succession vacuum would help open the door to catastrophe. Constantine XI Palaiologos reigned 1449 to 1453 AD, roughly 4 years. By the time Constantine XI took the throne, the empire controlled little beyond the city of Constantinople itself and a few scattered territories, a shadow of its former self, unable even to fully pay for its own defense. He never married and had no children. His previous 2 wives had died before his accession, leaving the dynasty without heirs even before the final crisis. The young Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II, determined to take the city his predecessors had besieged unsuccessfully for centuries, brought an enormous army, estimates vary, but commonly cited at 50,000 to 80,000 combatants against a Byzantine defense force of perhaps 7,000 to 8,000, including foreign volunteers led by the Genoese commander Giovanni Justiniani, and a revolutionary weapon, massive bronze siege cannons, including one supervised by a Hungarian engineer named Orban, who notably had first offered his cannon-casting services to Constantine XI, who could not afford them, before Mehmed hired him instead. A detail reported by the Byzantine historian Doukas, illustrating how thin Byzantine finances had become at the very end. The siege lasted from April 6 to May 29, 1453 to 53 days. The city's ancient Theodosian walls, which had repelled every siege for over 1,000 years, were battered by continuous cannon fire. The defenders, badly outnumbered, held for weeks through a combination of fortification repair, a chain blocking the Golden Horn harbor, and sheer desperation, until Ottoman forces famously hauled ships overland on greased logs to bypass the chain, a tactic that put Ottoman naval pressure inside the harbor and stretched the defense past its breaking point. On May 29, 1453, Ottoman forces breached the walls, partly through a poorly secured postern gate, the Kirkoporta, left open. Accounts differ on whether by accident or oversight. Constantine XI, per multiple contemporary and near-contemporary accounts, discarded his imperial insignia and died fighting in the breach alongside his soldiers rather than fleeing. His body was never conclusively identified. Mehmed II entered the city and converted the Hagia Sophia into a mosque within days, ending, by most historians' reckoning, the final continuous political institution tracing lineage back to Augustus. 1,480 years after 27 BC, or roughly 2,206 years after the traditional founding date of 753 BC, however you choose to count. No emperor, king, or sultan before Mehmed had managed to take Constantinople by force in over 1,000 years of trying. When he finally succeeded, contemporaries across Europe treated it as apocalyptic news. The last living link to the Caesars had been severed. Greek scholars fled west carrying manuscripts of classical texts, a migration many historians credit as a real accelerant of the Italian Renaissance already underway. Rome's ending fed directly into one of the most consequential cultural rebirths in European history. From a legendary founding in 753 BC to the death of Constantine XI in 1453 AD, some version of Roman political authority, kingdom, republic, Western Empire, Eastern Empire, persisted for roughly 22 centuries, under something on the order of 175 individual rulers, kings, emperors of the United Empire, Western emperors, and Eastern/Byzantine emperors combined. Exact counts vary by historian depending on how usurpers and co-emperors are tallied. Its law underlies half the world's legal systems today. Its language splintered into Spanish, French, Italian, Portuguese, and Romanian. Its road network's routes still guide modern highways across Europe. Its calendar, mostly unchanged since Julius Caesar's reform in 46 BC, with a correction under Pope Gregory in 1582, is the calendar on your wall right now. A closing interpretive claim, not a factual assertion. Perhaps the truest thing you can say about Rome is that it never really had one fall. It had dozens of near deaths and recovered from all but the last one. The empire that conquered the Mediterranean and the empire that fell to Ottoman cannon fire were separated by nearly 1,500 years and would barely have recognized each other. And yet Constantine XI, dying in the breach in 1453, was, by his own understanding and by unbroken institutional descent, doing the exact same job Augustus had invented in 27 BC, holding together for one more day the fiction that Rome could not fall. Yet it fall, just like empires do. If you enjoy this story, kindly give it a like, comment, and follow. Because the empire we will be discussing next is the empire that made Rome and fell. The Ottoman Empire.